What's up, guys? Bob Busker here at ThinkComputers, and we're going to be doing our component installation here on the NZXT Switch 810. And the first thing you're going to want to do is install your motherboard standoffs. And what's really great about NZXT, they've been doing this for a long time. Hopefully you can see this in the video here, is they actually label all of their bags of screws. And this makes it really easy to know what screws to actually use for the system, for the different components. So that's one thing that NZXT really does great. Now we're going to install our motherboard standoffs, and it's actually labeled inside here with letters, so you know exactly where to install your standoffs. And they also include this very cool little topper here that helps you install the standoffs. I know a lot of times you have to do them with your fingers, but this makes it really easy. So let's go ahead and start installing them. Now that we have our motherboard standoffs in here, we want to put in our I/O shield and motherboard. There we go with the I/O shield. Took a little bit. Now let's go ahead and grab our motherboard. So you can see right here. Now one really cool thing, we'll set this right here. One really cool thing that NZXT did include was the power extension for the CPU power. And it's actually one of their fully braided ones, which is really cool. And I believe that, in my opinion, all full tower cases should have a CPU power extension cable. So go ahead and put that on our motherboard first. And now we are ready to place this in here. So carefully line it up. And now we just go ahead and screw it in. Now that we have the motherboard installed, you're going to want to install your hard drive. And we're using a 3.5-inch hard drive. Both of these hard drive cages will fit 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch hard drives. I've already removed the thumb screws, and they simply pull out like this. We're going to pull out the bottom one here. And you can see that there are 3 hard drive trays in each cage. I'm going to take out the middle one here, and you can see. And what we're going to do is install our hard drive. And these can be a little bit tricky. It all depends, really, if you're lucky enough to get them to line up the first time. You try to get them to line up here. We'll see if we can get them in correctly, which they're not going in. There's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And if you don't have them lined up, it will not go in here correctly. There you go. So now our hard drive is installed. Simply just turn this back around and press it back in. And then we can use the thumb screws once we're done, and so we can secure everything inside the case. Now your optical drive installation is pretty easy. What you want to do is first take off the front drive bay cover. So you just simply take it off like that. Now you want to just slowly slide in your drive here. You may have to wiggle it just a little bit to get it in and try to move it in there where you want it. Now once you push it in here, it's going to lock into place on the actual settings, so you can still use the front bezel cover, which is really cool. So when I push this in here, it will lock, and then I press the lock down here on the side, which I'm going to do. Press this lock down, which I have it pressed down, and it will lock your drive into place. Completely total system. I really like it. I like how it locks into place as well. Now remember, if you don't want to use these, you don't have to. So now that we have our drive installed, all we have to do is reinstall the drive bay cover, and then this will actually work, so you keep the front aesthetic of the case looking nice and clean. One of our last components to install here is our power supply, and it simply just slides right in here. Move it back, and then you're going to secure it with 4 screws here. So now that we have this installed is our final part, which is going to be routing all of our cables. Now as you can see here, I was able to nicely route almost all of my cables behind the back of the case and then bring them through the cable routing holes. Everything is nicely in order, which is not only going to make it look good with the case window, it's also going to provide better airflow. You don't have a lot of stuff in the way getting in the way of air flowing through your case. So let's get on to the last part, which will be installing our video card. Video card installation is going to be pretty simple. The first thing you want to do is remove your 2 PCI slot covers, or 1 depending on which video card you're going to be using. These are some thumb screws, but I am using a screwdriver, but just makes it easier. Simply take them out like that. And our second one here. And we simply pull that one out of there. Now, just like all motherboards, you simply just line this up, make sure everything is there, press it in, and it is locked into place. And you take the same screws that you were using that were holding on the PCI slot cover, and you simply just screw them back in here. Looking at the back here, you can see how I have all of my cables from the front, which we'll see in a second, routed around the back. And it makes it really, really nice that you can get everything out of the way. And this will be the dirty side of the case, and this will be the clean side. And of course, once we put the side panel on here, nobody's going to be able to see it. Another thing that's very convenient, as I said in our unboxing video, is this fan hub right here. And you can install 6 3-pin fans, or whatever you want really, that uses a 3-pin connector right there. So that's very, very nice. Everything else, as you can see, once we close it up, it's going to be all covered up. But you can also see the large CPU cutout here, and it would be no problem to install our CPU cooler while the motherboard is actually already installed. So now we put the backside panel on the case, and you can see everything is routed nice and clean, has a very clean look to it. And what was great about this case is all this cable routing was done very easily. It didn't take a lot. There is a lot of room on the opposite side of the case to route everything, and everything just looks nice and clean. And you have a lot of room to we have everything installed on here, and we still have more than enough room to work, and you can still add more components very easily.